My big thing is to always center my clients back to who are you serving and why? Who are you serving and why? It goes back to my whole trademark of selling with heart, not hustle. Like that, I will take your money all day, 1,000,000 times over with a smile on my face.
That's Natasha Hemmingway. I'm Kara Duffy, and this is the Powerful Ladies Podcast. I'm really excited to have you here today because I, of course, am scouring the world and the internet for women who are on parallel paths with me in the sense of empowering people, especially women, to do all the things that they want to do and get out of their own way. And when I came across your Instagram and the messages that you were having about going from fear to faith, and what if you could have this dream life that we don't think we can have, I was like, yep, I want to talk to her. We need to talk about this because, I think we can get in our own echo chamber about it. But there's so many people living in spaces where they are so close to a new level of potential revenue, sales, whatever the thing is that they're looking for. And I don't think people realize how close they are. And that's why people like you need to be known and louder and broadcasting your message at a bigger place. Let's tell everyone your name, where you are, and what you are up to. And we'll start there.
Okay. So my name is Natasha Hemmingway. I am a sales coach, consultant, and a speaker. And what I'm up to is serving people and helping them understand how to not only be passionate, but also be profit so they can sell from a place of heart, not hustle. Like that's kind of me and what I do and my passion and my mission. So that's just a little bit about me.
I love that heart to hustle component. Where does that come from for you? And was that something that you were always marrying throughout your life? Or is that something that you have found since stepping into being an entrepreneur yourself?
Yeah, I think that it was always part of who I am and how I saw sales because I came out of college straight into sales and it was pharma sales, medical device sales. I've done the sales rep side, I've done the management side. And going into that, the two things I knew that I loved was one, my biology degree. I love science, right? But then the other was serving and helping people. And so I had to quickly understand how to sell because people naturally have this negative kind of thought or experience when it comes to sales. They hate it. They don't feel like they're being icky, pushy, manipulative, all that. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to change that perspective and the way that I see it. And I started out way back then under the standing, especially coming out of undergrad, speaking to physicians and surgeons. Okay. Like they've been to med school. I have not. And I'm selling product to them and their patients. So I had to quickly understand that sales is serving. Like when I sell this product, there's nothing icky, pushy, manipulative about it because what I sell, I can stand behind. I believe in it. And I know I'm serving someone else. So the heart, not hustle part, which is part of my business, is part of my trademark. It literally is trademark. That came when I circled back around and stepped into the lane of entrepreneurship and sales coaching consulting is when I was trying to put words around how I do what I do and how impacts other people because anybody can teach you about sales process and strategy, but the way that I do it and the essence behind it and how I help people get breakthrough is different. And I know that about me. And so I had to figure out how to say it in words. And I remember talking to my marketing manager at that time. And I was like, it's teaching people how to sell from a place of heart, not hustle. It's not about the hustle. It's about the heart and caring for the person that you're serving with the service product that you have and knowing that that's a gift that then benefits someone else when they buy it from you. That's what it's about. She goes, oh my God, that's it. And so that's where that came from. But I think it obviously came from when I first came into sales and I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Like I just got that job and did they know who they hired? Right? Are they sure? Right. Yeah. So I had to figure out and learn, right? Learn the skill set because sales is not a personality trait. It's a skill set. So anybody has the ability to be better at it. So I think it's just part of a long time ago, having to fix my mindset around this, being like, I need to be successful in this. I want to be successful in it. And then giving it words once I came into my own business.
And, you know, this is why when I saw you on Instagram, I knew I wanted to talk to you because the approach that sales comes from a heart place is something I believe in as well. I have an ebook called Stop Selling, Start Sharing, which I
Yes.
think is very aligned with like,
Yes.
come from that heart because I don't know when the sales job became, as you said, this like icky thing. Like it's not a used cars salesman selling lemons. Like
Yeah.
we are selling every day ourselves, our businesses, our ideas. I
Your
think the best,
brand,
yes, yes.
everything.
And I think sometimes the best salespeople are kids who want to
Mm,
convince their parents to do something. They always have responses to objections. They're not gonna, it's
right.
not coming from an icky place. It's something that you want. And I love that you're telling people and teaching them how to realign what they think about sales so they can then create what they are selling. And like, I love that you tie the words into it. So, how much do the words and the description and the messaging about what you're selling impact not just your success rate, but your confidence in what you're doing?
Oh, wow. 1000%. Because
Mhm.
as I tell my clients, it's never about me or you.
Yeah.
It is about the person that you're selling. And also people feel it's not, we get caught up in like, it's my pricing or what to say and how
Yeah.
to say it and what not to say and the money I need in my bank account and how badly I need you to like me and say yes and all these things. And I'm like, you have to constantly center and align yourself back
Mhm.
to who am I serving and why?
Yeah.
And finding out and making it about them. And that's why it is at the essence of what I do. And that's why I'm
Mhm.
never afraid of it. I'm never afraid of
Yeah.
holding people accountable to the intention and the growth that they say they desire when they come to me. Like, I don't have a problem with that because I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
here to serve you,
Yeah.
but I'm also here to hold you accountable to the thing that you say you want. So,
Mhm.
like, let's go there. Right. And I think it's every bit tied to it. 1000%. Always.
Mhm.
Always.
It amazes me when I'm working with clients on how um, the boundaries that we think we need with
Mm,
like employees or clients or in-laws, really the boundary that we have to work on is the one to ourselves. Like we are so good at letting ourselves off the hook when it gets scary or deep water, and stretching ourselves into a sales space of course is that it's going to be uncomfortable. What is
yeah.
your advice to guide people through how to be brave and confident in that space when they're trying on sales at a new level in particular?
Right. The thing that I explain to clients, and I say to everybody, I don't care if you come to me as a multimillionaire. I don't care if
Mhm.
I'm in a consulting company working with a multi-million dollar team. I don't care who I approach. We are always going to work on your mindset. So if you're
Yeah.
starting with your mindset, it's shifting you away from yourself, being self-centered and
Yeah.
self-absorbed and being servant leader,
Mhm.
right? Being a servant leader, because the more you make it about the client, the less it is about the sales process and the sales
Yeah.
strategy, conversion rates, and all that. That stuff comes when you do the first part right, which is
Mhm.
who's in front of you and finding out what do they need and why do they need it. And then if you have a solution that fulfills that need or solves their problem or meets their desire or helps them,
Mhm.
whatever it is, the rest is like just semantics,
Yeah.
right? But the bigger part of the iceberg that everybody wants to focus on the sales process, but the bigger part of the iceberg that is underneath is your mindset. And usually we
Mhm.
talk about this, and I'm actually certified in this national or like I said, international sales assessments, been around 30 plus years, 3 million plus data points, all that. I'm certified to administer it, interpret the data, all of
Yeah.
that. And in this assessment, it
Mhm.
talks about that the majority of the time, the issue in the deal cycle of selling is us, the seller.
Yes.
It's you. You're in the way. Your money
Mhm.
mindset, your assumptions, um,
Mhm.
your lack of desire, or your not even lack of desire, but your fear behind holding someone accountable and being assertive
Mhm.
while still serving. It's all of those things. So I think my big thing is to always center my clients back to who are you serving and why? Who are you serving and why?
Mhm.
It goes back to my whole trademark of
Yeah.
selling with heart, not hustle. Like
Mhm.
that, I will take your money all day, a million times over with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
When I know that I'm centered and I'm doing that right, like there's no shame, right? Like I have
Yeah.
to be able to have money. I can't just be passionate and not profitable. It doesn't work.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right? It doesn't work. And I explain that whether it's I'm working with a corporation on the consulting side,
Mhm.
'cause I work with the international sales firm, I work with the international pricing expertise consulting firm. Doesn't matter who we're in front of. We're
Yeah.
always back to those things. It's the same. And it's the
Yeah.
same for entrepreneurs as it is the same for corporations.
Hmm.
That's a change.
Well, and I think it's also really interesting that we tend to think that if sales isn't working, it's price.
Oh,
And to me, price is the final decision maker. Like my approach is always, I want people to be a yes to me and how I can help and what we can create together. And then it's on them if the price works or not. But
that.
we don't, it's always people think if it's not working, it must be the price.
Oh,
And I'm like, no. So,
oh, that's never it.
no. Mm-mm.
There's like 6 reasons why people don't buy, and price is never one of them. Never,
Isn't that
ever.
crazy?
Yeah.
And,
It's
and
and
be,
the data shows it too, because people
yeah,
buy not only what they want, but they also buy what they need, right?
yes.
Like they're buying it. And I think I tell clients the same as like, I need this to be a full body yes for you because I cannot give
Mhm.
you my best yes until you give yourself your
Yep.
best yes. Otherwise, I'm serving, I'm pouring into you, I'm going all out for
Mhm.
you, and you aren't even concerned about you. That's
Yeah.
not aligned. And on top of that, I tell people, be honest with me. If you can't afford
Yeah.
it, you can't afford it because your money business is not my money business.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
best stay out of it. It's that simple. Like you got to figure that out. You figure out anything else you want to buy in life.
Yeah.
Figure this out. It has to be that important to you because I've had to do it. I am
Yeah.
not a trust fund baby.
Yeah.
Just saying,
Yeah.
Kara. Like I'm not.
Mhm.
Like I have had to, and I tell my clients too, everything that I'm telling you do, I'm not absent from anything that I'm asking you
Mhm.
to do. I have to do the same.
Yeah.
And so pricing, no, it's the mindset. Like you said, Kara, it
Mhm.
goes back to the mindset. How do you see it? And
Mhm.
that also goes back to like people's money stories and their buying
Yes.
decisions, how they make buying decisions,
Mhm.
their buy cycle. Like people don't think that's attached, but it is absolutely rooted in those things.
Well, and you brought up the great point of people always make room for what they want. Like they will find the credit cards, they will borrow their money, they will cancel the other things, they'll eat ramen for a month. Like they'll do
Literally.
if they want something, they'll find a way. So even the idea, like it's so easy to jump into like feeling pity for someone, which really is just making them small. We shouldn't do it anyway, but
uh,
it's so easy to see people jump into like, "Ooh, like they're a new business, they're just starting." And it's
Yep.
like, "So what? You're gonna help them become a multi-million dollar thing. Like, what is
Right.
that worth?"
Literally. One of my first coaches said this, and it's the best line ever. And I tell people, and I'm like, don't blame me. Okay. But she was like, listen, when it comes to price, stop making it about all these other things. She was
Mhm.
like, at the end of the day, broke people go to Disney. Okay. They figure it out. They find a way and go to Disney. Disney is expensive, but people
Yeah.
find a way to do it. Right.
Mhm.
So, I mean, trust me, I've been broke too. Coming into this business, I didn't have tons of just money lined up for 3 years of an investment. No, you
Right.
come into this scrapping and believing in what you're doing and willing to invest because you believe in it. And I think sometimes
Mhm.
we don't know how to separate the facts from the emotions, right?
Mhm.
Those emotions and feelings, they're just indicators, not dictators, right? And you have to
Yeah.
be very careful with that. And sometimes it takes seeking wise counsel, as I say it. Who's your board of directors? Who is
Mhm.
going to tell you the truth when you're not telling the truth to yourself, right?
Yeah.
Who's going to hold you accountable when you're not able to do it for yourself? That small, intimate group,
Yeah.
that's who you go to when you're struggling and making a decision. You got to have those because sometimes it takes getting beyond those mindset gaps or that lack of growth mindset that's not there yet, or that muscle's not
Mhm.
developed, or you've not gotten any wins yet. So you feel already defeated behind. It takes going to those places so that you can
Yeah.
hold yourself accountable, which goes back to self awareness, right? I always say self
Yeah.
awareness is the biggest gateway to growth. Like it just is. You have to be self aware. And
Mhm.
sometimes we're just too busy being distracted and looking for everybody to solve our problem, give us the Hail
Mhm.
Mary, be my coach that's going to give me $1 million. I'm like, no, start with you first, please.
Yeah. Well, and you if you're hoping for something to happen, it's not going to. Like I'm all about using affirmations. We can manifest, but we have to have on planet actions that tie
Right.
back to it. Like it's all ends up being math. Like either it's the hours you put in or the time you're putting in, the money you're putting in. And if you want to have $1 million business, no problem. Like we can build that out on a
Right.
spreadsheet.
Right.
Like it doesn't take long to make a roadmap for your $1 million plan. So like the hoping component is like what that drives me crazy when I'm with, because I'm like, we gotta stop hoping and we gotta start doing and like being in the new space.
Mhm.
I also want to go back to something you mentioned earlier about how people, like when they're pricing what they're selling,
Mhm.
that I love moving people into their zone of genius so that they're making money doing what comes so naturally to them that they hesitate to charge for it. Because that's where I think we don't value the superpowers that we have because they're so obvious to us, but that's where we impact somebody else at such a high level. And I'm curious for you with your business, like you were scaling your corporate career in sales. When you left and had to kind of go through who am I now? What should I be doing? What's next? Were you valuing your ability to sell at the same way you do now?
No,
Yeah.
no. Transparency and honesty, like
Yeah.
my story, I mean, we probably don't even have time to go into all of that. Like growing up with a widowed mom, my dad passed when I was 2 months old. My mom's an only child. She lost both of her parents in college, lost her mom to breast cancer. My mom gets
Mhm.
breast cancer. Like we went through a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
And it's always just been really me and my mom, obviously my extended family, my dad's family. And so coming up and having to struggle and seeing my mom be a nurse practitioner, but also work multiple jobs and do all these things when you're pouring in, like sometimes you don't know your value. And
Yeah.
also say this, there is a huge shift in difference from when you go from selling someone else's product, baby, service, or thing.
Mhm.
It is very easy. I know y'all can't see us, but it's like if you take your iPhone and you put it up in front of your face and you're selling that phone, whatever phone it
Mhm.
is, right? It's very easy to hide behind that because it's
Mhm.
just the product service that you're selling and you can talk about it all day, right?
Yeah.
When people ask us, "Oh, where'd you get that shirt?" or when we will sell it all day. But there is a whole different ball game when you
Mhm.
remove that product or services is not yours and then the real you has to step forward and is your product, your service, your intellectual property, aka IP.
Yeah.
That's a different ball game. It requires deep work. It requires you getting to the root of the
Mhm.
things that are keeping you stuck in your fear and not allowing you to move forward in your faith, or move forward in faith.
Mhm.
I mean, it is constant. So no, I tell people
Yeah.
all the time, do not think that I came out this bold. Like it's been a process, but
Yeah.
I've also been willing to invest
Mhm.
and people that are wiser than me, that are further along than me, and be held accountable for when I'm not fully showing up. So I don't need someone to tell me to want it. I don't need
Mhm.
someone to teach me work ethic. Like I think
Yeah.
those things have to be within, and you have to want it bad enough. And for me, my why is so much bigger. I mean, we lost our full term son, and then we got
I'm so
pregnant.
sorry.
Thank you. And that all happened while I was in the running for a promotion within my corporate job that takes 2 years of like at being at
Mhm.
100% or greater per quarter, every quarter. And that's 8 quarters. And then losing our son and then, dipping below that and having to start over and then getting pushed out. I mean, like my story, my journey, like I'm very clear on my
Mhm.
why and why I do this. And so
Yeah.
for me, I knew this wasn't going to be easy, shifting from comfort of
Mm.
corporate
Mhm.
how, oh, like I'm really exposed and this is my brand and this is how I show up and serve. So it has been a process and a journey, and I'm always still working on myself.
Yeah.
And it's a process and a journey that never ends. So I just give snippets of those parts of my story. I know we don't have time to go deep into it, but I think it's really important. And I always want to be humble, open, and transparent to say, like, this is difficult. I've struggled
Yeah.
too. Come as a trust fund baby. I come from seeing my mom struggle and scrap to make it happen for us, to give me
Mhm.
opportunities and experiences. Like I just think it's so important because people get on podcasts and they talk about all this great things about where they are
Mhm.
now, but like I just want to keep it real. Like this has been a journey. So again, I
Mhm.
am never absent from the things that I am encouraging you all to do or the things that I hold my clients accountable to do.
Yeah. Well, and seeing someone's growth, like seeing what's below the surface of the mountaintop or the only part of the iceberg that we see, it matters because there's a narrative out there, which is why this whole podcast and company exists of it is like the only people living the good life or making an impact are not Oprah, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and the Barbie movie right now. Like,
Right.
there are so many women every day who are transforming themselves, their household, their community, the world that we have not heard of, and that's a shame. And there
Right.
are so many women who have gone through so many things and still said, no matter what happens, I still want that life. I still want that thing. And it's not even about the wanting for yourself, but as you keep talking about, like, you're made for more. And women have been taught for so long to ignore our intuition, to ignore what our heart's saying, to ignore what we know because it hasn't been convenient or made sense to people around us. And it like it lights me up seeing women who like hear that voice in their head get louder and louder and like, I can't ignore this anymore.
Right.
Like, I have to shift things. And I also love that you were speaking to the fact that when your whole self shows up, like, you are an incredible unicorn that there is not another one of. But we have to have the what we might want to hide in our shadow, like, that has to come forward for us to actually attract the dream clients and the people that we're meant to be serving. Because otherwise, how do we know how you stand out against somebody else?
Right. Right.
Like,
Well, and I think it's that acknowledging that about
mhm,
yourself. That is even a process. I feel like for us as
yeah,
women to
mhm,
acknowledge our greatness and be okay to say, you know what, I am actually really good at this thing. And then
yeah,
being able to add to the end of it if you need to make it okay with yourself. And it is worthy of serving other people through this said product or service in this business. It
mhm,
is worthy of impacting because the money, I'm telling you, the money comes when you do the upfront
yes,
parts, the money comes. And money is
mhm,
just an amplifier. Our financial advisor, when we
yeah,
took this leap into entrepreneurship, like this wasn't like my first step. It
yeah,
was a journey for like a year before I even got into it's a whole nother story. But he said, he's like, money is just an amplifier. Whoever's
mhm,
you put it in, it's an opportunity to do more good or you can do bad with it. But it's not a
yeah,
bad okay. It's okay
mhm,
to want and desire money because usually, especially women, I always say this, when you put money in good hands, like women,
yes,
we hire other
yeah,
people, we give other people opportunities to step into their dream or to get to
mhm,
their financial freedom. We invest in our communities, we invest in our family, we make
yeah,
impact. Like it is endless. It's a ripple effect. So it's always
yeah,
just never about you.
mhm,
Gifting, the thing that you do, product or service that you sell, the business that you have, whatever it is, or volunteer, nonprofit, whatever the thing is, the thing that you do, it's a gift and a
mhm,
gift meant to be given, not hidden behind your back. And so I tell
yeah,
my don't keep someone else's destiny trapped in your own mouth. Open, speak, serve,
mhm,
impact, show up because it ain't about you. Ain't about you. Period. And I meant that the way I said
yeah.
it.
No,
Full
and but and we need you. Like, that's also what attracted me to your message is, like, telling women, like, we need you to step into this space. Like, no one's coming to save us. Like,
nope.
so, like, if you know something's wrong, if you know something has to change, if you know it could be better, more fun, easier, like, if you see it, you have to now it's yours.
Yeah.
And if you don't take an action on it, it's gonna be one more thing that isn't working in the flow, easy, like, good way it could be. And it's hard, right? Because there's so many responsibilities that so many women have,
Yeah.
and there's not a lot of support, especially in the US. So, there's so much power in relying on each other and building community. And I'd love to know from your perspective, like, how have other powerful people and women allowed you to step into this space for yourself, and how has your community impacted you?
Yeah, wow. Ooh, that's a heavy question because honestly, I was sitting here thinking that I was going to go into like add to the comment as we were going
Mhm,
and then you asked the question. But it is not a surprise. I'm an African American female, so I'm a double
mhm,
minority. Okay,
mhm,
so when I think of the weight of my ancestors and the people that have come before me that
yeah,
have fought and that have shown up, that have made an impact, or even other women that were also women of color or non women of color, right? Who
yeah,
band together for us to have rights and opportunities, that was them making an impact in their time. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, it always goes deeper for me
Yeah.
is who am I not to show up? Because I am going to be providing these trees that I plant, these seeds that I plant, these trees will grow and they will provide shade for people that I may never ever meet. So I
Mm-hmm.
hold a responsibility, a deep responsibility, and I have a son, right? And so it is, again, it's not about me. And so I think when I think about ancestors or other just incredible women that have
Yeah.
done things and have band together and changed different rights, whether it's been in
Mm-hmm.
sports or, in life in general, it doesn't matter, or politics, whatever it is, or equal rights, whatever it is, it's like, what responsibility do I hold with my time on this earth, right? Because when
Mm-hmm.
you know your purpose and you're passionate about it, it's like, man, move out of the way.
Yeah.
Time. Because you're,
Yes.
especially the older you get, you realize how much time you do not have.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have time to be playing around. There are people that need you. And I think for me, my community, I think it's not even like I got the most unexpected email today, and it literally brought tears to my eyes from a former one-on-one client who I
Mm-hmm.
have been able to watch go on and win like these big awards and recognition. I mean, she is just growing and it makes me so proud. Although that is
Yeah.
not the back of me, it's just that I got
Yeah.
to be part of her journey. Right. I got to be a part of her journey in a space. And she sent me the most beautiful email this morning. And she talked about how she meditates and journals and prays in the morning. And she said, and she was meditating, praying over the people that have been a part of her journey and made her successful. And she's like, your
Mm-hmm.
face came to my mind when I was
Mm-hmm.
meditating. I was like, oh, like that is
Yeah.
what I do. Why I do what I do. It's not the sales and the process and
Yeah.
strategy. That's like the vehicle, right? That I
Mm-hmm.
but I'm the vessel, like God has gifted me with this. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
that's the purpose, y'all. Is like, there is
Yeah.
somebody that is going to be deeply, and I told my husband, my son, you never know the impact that you will have on someone. It could be one small deed, one small act.
Yeah.
And it matters. And it's like, I want
Mm-hmm.
my son to know that. So the way that my community or other people impact me is like, is just, it's tremendous. It's tremendous,
Yeah.
whether it be even my clients who then come
Mm-hmm.
back and impact me, or even like my mom. Like that's my community, right?
Yeah.
My husband, my son, my second son, him being on
Mm-hmm.
this earth, and just the way he shows up and the way
Mm-hmm.
that people speak. I was like just in the chiropractor office saying, she was like, he's so special. And I'm like, listen, it is not all me. I
Mm-hmm.
believe he literally is a blessing. He was gifted to us. And like,
Yeah.
uh, I could go on for days, but there are so many people that have impacted me. And I just, those people, they know who they are. And I never
Mm-hmm.
ever want to take it for granted. So again, just align yourself back to why you do what you do and who you're serving and why you're serving them. And also paying it forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think
Mm-hmm.
about the people that have made and paved a way for you. Why would you not want to pay it forward in your time on
Yeah.
this short life that we have? Like so much
What
work
else are we? Yeah. What else are we doing? Like,
that
I,
besides
I,
fame and money, and
mhm.
I can't win it. Like just
No, there's a time management workshop I do, and I have a visual of like statistically where people in America's time goes. And it is horrifying. People see that chart and go, that is not how I want my story to be.
wake up call.
Yes.
The amount
Yes.
of time we waste on frivolous nonsense things.
Hmm.
I'm telling you, yeah, I have a whole conversation around that, around how like culture and social media, like how I had to get delivered from that. Cause I'm telling you, that thing is a beast. It will suck you
Yeah.
in and you end up wasting so much time looking
Mhm.
around. So I tell my clients, when you come work with me, put your blinders on.
Yes.
I don't need you following 20 million people, asking 20 million people. I'm not saying I got all the answers, but like minimize the noise and the distraction,
Yes.
please.
Less input, more output.
Hear that. Simply stated. That right there.
Yeah. When you think of the words powerful in ladies, what do they mean to you? And do their definitions change when they're next to each other?
Ooh, gosh, come on, Kara. All right, let's go there. When I think about powerful, the other word that immediately comes up for me, which is probably not a surprise, is it's impactful. It's
Hmm.
power with a purpose.
Yeah.
That's the way I like to see powerful, because powerful can be used in negative or positive. But I am a
Yeah.
person who likes to focus on the positive and the good. So I think it is power with a purpose and with
Mhm.
impact, right? Again,
Mhm.
someone else is going to receive on the
Yeah.
other when you show up in your power. Oh
Mhm.
gosh. You put ladies with it, I don't think it changes it. I think it just amplifies it. It brings that thing
Yeah.
up a notch because there is just something special about
Yeah.
women. We birth
Mhm.
children. Like for 2 whole humans, full term, no medicine, no nothing, naturally. Like, who
Yeah.
does that? That only woman can do that. I mean, but
Mhm.
don't get me wrong, we need men too. I have an amazing husband. There are a lot of things that
Mhm.
I've done and I've been able to do because of him, because he serves and he supports me. I would never take that
Mhm.
away. There is just
Yeah.
something special about a woman though. So when you put purposeful impact with
Mhm.
women, we're nurturers. We
Yeah.
in our community, we give other people opportunities. We birth other people's dreams. I mean, like, oh, I love it. I mean, I love it. Like, I have a mom group
Mhm.
and we are
Mhm.
so tight. And I'm like, these are my women. Like, we get
Yeah.
this out together. And I mean, there's just nothing like that. And they're all powerful in
Mhm.
their own ways. I see my
Mhm.
mom who has wisdom and eight. I mean, I could go on. I'm gonna shut up, Karen. I'm
No, but
not
I think
more on those 2 words.
there are, we talk a lot about, and there's so much in the media and marketing and all the Instagram places about who's successful and what are their core habits. And I think that, again, part of the reason of having these conversations is that real success is simple in what it comes down to, right? You mentioned knowing yourself and knowing that the journey to know yourself deeper and better is a lifelong journey. It's not like, oh, I read a book, I took a class, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because when you think that, it likes to show up and smack you in the face in like really inconvenient times. So
Yeah.
it's knowing yourself, and then it's like getting rid of all the stuff that isn't allowing you to be your brightest light, looking for who you're going to serve. But this community component, this idea that women are supposed to do it all by themselves and figure it out and be perfect all the time. Like having a group of powerful women around you not only allows you to lean on each other, but realize this, like, we got to have it all figured out in all areas all the time is like just complete nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know that we're talking enough about this community component as well. Like there's a big push on mindset. I don't know if it's getting to where you and I are talking about mindset, because it's a whole lot of stuff you don't wanna do. But
Right.
this community component is lacking right now. We know the statistics that it's lacking, especially after COVID. So, like, how are you nurturing and building a community that fills your cup in a way that, like, you get to leave and be better than before you spent time with them?
Yeah. Mm. I will say in 2 ways.
Mhm.
Life-wise, it's being intentional about the people that I say yes to, and that I'm
Yeah.
willing to hear and pick up their phone call and love them.
Mhm.
It's reciprocal, right? I
Yeah.
think that's one way, is being intentional and making time and space for people like that, right?
Mhm.
That's the life part. And the business part, with Hello Clients, Hello Cash, which is the sales course that I have, we have been through different waves of it. It's been around for a while. It's trademarked,
Yeah.
all the things. And we used to have a community, and like we're literally going back to it because there's a need,
Mhm.
there's actually a request. So
Yep.
we are creating community in that way to hold space for people, not just to get coaching or to be poured into and to have strategies, all that stuff and
Yeah.
accountability, like to know that you're not alone. And this is something I
Mhm.
say all the time. We are meant to be
Yep.
in community with each other, which means we're
Mhm.
meant to do life together.
Mhm.
That is the way we were wired. I don't care if
Yeah.
you're introvert, extrovert, ambivert, name it. Everybody needs someone or a few people. We all need it. Yeah, you might
Mhm.
turn them off a little bit sometimes and like take some space and time. We all need that too. But we are wired for connection.
Mhm.
And so we have to, and I think as business owners, if that's your calling and your people are asking for that and you can hold that space, it is on us to create that. And that's what
Yeah.
we're doing when it comes to Hello Clients, Hello Cash. It's helping people understand it's not just the chase and the success and the sales and the money and getting clients and conversion rates and strategy and process, because I can talk to you about that all day. But also leaning on someone else to know that I'm not in this alone, because this world of entrepreneurship that is run so heavily by social media marketing, all the different platforms, can feel very lonely, and it can make you feel like everybody else is winning except for me. When that could not be anything further from the truth. But what's cool is when you put people in community and you make them feel safe and seen and heard, the truth comes out. And other people, "Oh, you too, me too." And then they start sharing resources or they encourage each other. And it's really the community leader actually just starts being able to kind of get out of the way. They're running the community in the way that they want to. So that's what we're doing through Hello Clients, Hello Cash, the Rich Life Experience. That is enrich. I want to be clear. It's an acronym, stands for remarkable, intentional, courageous, heart not hustle life. Like that is not just the money, not the check. It nothing to do with that. But that's the way that I create community in my personal life, but then also in my business life. And I'm going to say one more thing on the personal life. I think sometimes we are so busy and we want people to give to us, but it's like take time to slow down and think about when's the last time you did something for someone else in your community? What are you doing for them? What are you doing as far as thinking about them? Like I mean, that's just the way I'm wired as a servant leader, but I think we all need to be intentional with that in our space, like you said, especially since COVID, because suicide rates and loneliness and depression, I mean, it's a real thing. And it even is happening within our children. And so I think we're extremely intentional about creating those spaces and being intentional about nurturing them too.
Yeah, I think, I'm really big on having clients check in on like, why did you choose this? Why are you in this city? Why, like, we do a lot of why work. And, there's three whys that I like people to focus in, like our holy whys, like our mission statement, purpose whys, our practical, selfish ones, because those are the ones we can, like, I want my own hours, I want to be my own boss. I need flexibility to be with my family. But then there's the hidden whys that we don't use, but like going through all these whys, it actually goes back to that marketing messaging about your sales that you were speaking to earlier. But I think where we don't do enough why diving is like who our community really is. Like who can you call at 3 a.m.? Who fills your cup when you're with them? Who do you just
Yeah.
naturally think about and want to help? And I saw a quote recently that said we have to stop using the word friend
Mm.
and appropriately classify people with neighbor, associate, colleague,
Wow.
because we start creating an illusion that I have all these friends, but
Oh,
like,
mm,
are they supporting you? Are you supporting them? Like, we have to honor that word way
yes.
more than we have been in culture. And I loved that because there's room for so many people to fit into your life for you to receive and give to. And it's impossible to give and receive equally to all of them.
Mira, listen, I have to give massive credit to my mom. I'm teaching my son this thing right now at 9. I have to give massive credit to my mom. It's probably her only child and her just preparing me for life. But my mom was like, everyone is not your friend. Nor can you be liked by everyone for them to be your friend. And that's okay. That's not the goal to make everyone your friend. There are associates and they are friends. And then there are even fewer best friends. And and you're right. I think that was so good about what you talked about, like the three whys, the hidden hole, the other one.
Selfish, practical, the holy,
Right.
selfish and practical, and then the hidden wise.
Yes. So when you go back to that, like you said, is like when we take a look at those whys and then you started attaching like that community piece, is a lot of people, they can't even name someone, but yet they call all these people their friends. And one of the best things is to test yourself and get off Instagram where you're not DMing people or seeing what's going on in their life and then being able to quick comment or heart. You will find out really and truly who your people are and how much time and effort you have to really be with people and be friends and nurture relationships offline. It is a whole nother level of accountability because you're like, oh, well, yeah, I don't have time to contact 15 million people when I'm sitting in an app. It's very easy to do. Man, there's so much under that, Kara. That's good. That is good conversation. But yeah, I owe that to my mom, and I'm teaching my son that now. It's not possible. It's not possible. What is important is to truly nurture the people that you do call friends. How do and how do they love you well? And then that best friend, which my son has like a specific best friend, they've been that way since 2, picking them both up today after school. My dream. But like they truly are each other's keeper. Like they have each other's back and they have a special bond and they understand that. And it's beautiful to watch. And they're friends with other people, but like the 2 of them, like it's sacred. There's something there. And I think that's just from the way that we've taught them is that, hey, they talk about, they say we're brothers. Like that's the way they see themselves. But that's because they're very intentional about that relationship, protective of it too. But I think that's the problem is we're so busy and distracted trying to be cute and appealing to everybody through social, and you ain't got time for that. It's impossible. So you out here just floating around feeling lonely. It's a mess. It's a
It
mess.
is. There's a lot, there's a lot that's a mess right now, but the good news is there's people like you are helping people get back in alignment with the things that matter and matter to them. It's like you said it earlier, if you're in alignment, and I fully believe this, so when clients ask me like, "How do you help someone double their business?" We get in alignment. Just
Yeah.
like like when we are in alignment, it things it's also how like we delete 80% of what's on your to-do list. Like 80% of what we're doing does not matter. And I don't care that, Coach Susie over here has whatever. Like if I don't want to do it, if you don't want to do it, we're not going to do it.
I just told the girl that I'm working with now where we've been reiterating and upgrading, like complete elite leveling Hello Clients, Hello Cash. And there was something she was like, well, it was great because she was like, um, what out of this can you commit to? And I said, I don't want to do that, that, or that. That is all, been there, done that, learned from it. I'm not here for that. I'm not serving in that way. I'm not showing up in that way. Like I'm very clear on how I want to show up and what matters to me and what's going to make an impact. I don't need to be noisy. I don't need to be over.
Yep.
No thanks. No
Yep.
thanks.
We ask everyone on the podcast where you put yourself on the powerful lady scale. If 0 is average everyday human and 10 is the most powerful lady you can imagine, where would you put yourself today and on an average day?
Oh man. Listen, my faith is a huge part of my life. Not great because I'm great and I made myself. I know who I am and I know whose I am. So I am a creation. So I would put myself on a 10 and on an average day, I put myself on an 8 because again, every single thing that I do, whether it's for my family, whether it's for my community or friends or my business, I am here to impact people. So I have a responsibility. So God dang it, I'm a 10. I'm for them.
Yeah.
And for my son, I'm a 10. I try. Now, do I always hit it? Is somebody else's perception that it's a 10? No. But what I am waking up wanting to be and do and be in alignment with is being at a 10. I can give my 10 for that day. Somebody else might feel like an 8 to them, but I'm going to do my damnedest to like give it my all. It's
One
like,
of the things, oh, sorry.
no, you're fine. Just
One of the things I've been exploring about this, like getting to the 10, is when you experience yourself at another level, when you see like obviously there's a lot of talk about representation. If you see it, you can be it. But I think there's something else about if you feel it, you can come back to it. Like it's real.
sure.
So like when have you felt those 10 moments that you were like, "Oh, that's 10. I thought 10 was here, but that's a 7. Now I really know what 10 is." Like when have you felt that 10?
I think, oh my gosh, there's so many. I have so many blessings. Like, I'm not even supposed to be on this earth. Like, we won't go into that story and go deep, but like, I'm not even supposed to still be here. And so for me, that's why I said somebody else may see me as an 8, but my goal is to be at a 10 for the people that I am. And on my average day, I might be batting at 8. Sorry. But the moments that have made me feel like it's a 10 are those things where God like literally shows up and he reminds me of like, you are capable. You are worthy. Oh, and that door opened. And that door opened. Oh, and even the email I got this morning. Like that's a feeling of a 10. That is a feeling of a 10 to know that I've impacted someone's life like that, that I come to remembrance, like my face comes there. Like those, I mean, I have so many, like getting my son here, the second son, our second son. even understanding the loss of our first son, like there, I mean, the growth from that, like I have so many moments and memories and blessings. I call them blessings, and miraculous things, miracles that have happened to me and that have impacted my life. Like I know what a 10 feels like because I wasn't supposed to be here, Kara. Like after losing my son, I was not supposed to be here. I know what it was like, feels like when I see my son and I see him step into his voice and his boundary and him speaking up for himself and him loving and so like, oh, like it makes me emotional because I know what it feels like because I know that I am grateful. It is a blessing for me to be on this earth. And so I know what it feels like. I know what that feeling feels like. And I so deeply desire for the people that I touch to understand and know that too, is that someone else's 10 ain't your 10. Someone else's 10 might be $1,000,000. Your 10 may be your first client. Your 10 may be getting out of depression or whatever, or healing. Like it looks different for other people, but it's knowing that you are capable, that you are blessed, and that you are worthy. Like that is a whole nother embodiment. It is a knowing no one can take away from you, or a bad day can't like sweep you off your feet. You are able to come back to that home, right? Come back to that knowing. Um, so yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
Another piece I think in the how to really be successful short list is this idea of being enchanted with the world around you and seeing the magic and seeing the miracles and seeing how extraordinary so much of this is. And so I love that you spoke to that because it's so easy to go through life and not appreciate the things that we have forgotten are magic and didn't have to be this way. And it could always be worse. It could always be harder, but it could also just be a whole lot more of a struggle. And, you can find them on YouTube if somebody who's listening wants to go look for it, but there's these great exercises of, if you have internet, reminder, you're in like the top 25% of people on the planet. Oh, hey, you have shelter, you're in this percent. Like there's so many things. Hmm.
Gratitude. Gratitude.
Hmm.
You nailed it, Kara. Like gratitude. I told my son literally when he's like, I don't want to take a shower. I'm like, listen, be grateful. It's winter. You have a warm home. You have loving. You have a shower to get. He's like, you're right, mommy. Attitude. Gratitude is the attitude. And he had to remind me last night because I was complaining about something. It's like, mommy, remember to come from a place of gratitude. I'm like, you're right. You're,
Thank you.
you're right. Like, listen, mirror,
Hmm.
like they're right. And I think that is, it's just, I think it's the world that we're living in right now. Like we're so distracted and there's a narrative that's constantly being put in front of us of what success looks like, what a woman that's on a level 10 looks like, what does a powerful lady look like, it's so much. And then so we get caught up in the narrative of trying to perform and be something that sometimes we're not even, it's not our time to be that. It's not our path to be that. But it really does come back to like sitting down and sitting with yourself to go through, like you said, those 3 whys. Why is it that I want that? What is it that I actually want? Because let me tell you, that's a whole nother story too, is sometimes we
Yeah.
don't know what we want.
We do not.
Like literally,
Mhm. Mhm.
but we expect to be fulfilled in this and that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
slow down,
Yeah.
slow down.
Mhm. Well, in regards to community and contribution, we've been asking everyone, what do you need? What's on your to make happen? What's on your to manifest list? How can we help you? Powerful Ladies is a big and powerful community. So, what would you like?
No. Oh, I love how you position that. What would I like? I think for me, which in the show notes, there is a discount code for your community. It's Natasha Hemmingway, 2ms.com/powerful ladies. The page is set up for powerful ladies. And it is, I think my want right now, which we've been working so hard on, is for anyone that feels like they need sales, coaching, education, strategies, accountability, and they want to build a rich life, meaning remarkable, intentional, courageous, heart not hustle life, like is to take the step which is, I mean, ridiculous. I mean, you can go to the website and see what it's called. I mean, what we're charging. We're giving people 25% off. It's like literally $197 a month. Give yourself the gift. Invest in yourself to hold yourself accountable to the intentions you desire. So honestly, and I'll say this too, Karen, if it's me or somewhere else, cool. Find it and get yourself there, because selling is serving. And when you serve and you sell, you're going to impact somebody else, and it's going to be a ripple effect. So it goes all back. So if it ain't me, that's okay. I'm not meant to be here to bring in every single person on this earth and hello clients, hello cash, the rich life experience. I'm not. But for those of you who are looking, come in. The doors are open. And we've got the gift in the show notes for you, where it's a 25% off your first month. There's a freebie there that gives you access to module 4 that's out of the content. That's at natashahemmingway.com/freebie. All of it's in the show notes, but I think that's my ask is step into investing into yourself and stop sitting around talking, and also stop sitting around trying to hand do stuff yourself. Like, that's not your lane. Like, get with Kara for the lane that she serves in. If you need Kara and Powerful Ladies, get there. Stop trying to piecemeal stuff and expecting work. Like, I invest, period. Invest money where your mouth is.
I love that. For everyone who cannot wait to work with you, support you, follow you, have you be on their inspiration team, where can they find and follow you?
Everything is cohesive, and it's Natasha Hemmingway, 2 M's. So if it's Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, my website is natashahemmingway.com with 2 M's. It's all there. All those places are all the same. So you can find me anywhere, and I will message you back.
Well, I love your energy. I love what you're up to. Thank you for giving your gifts to the world and for being such a bold stand that people just get out of their own way and step into that space. Like, thank you for doing that work. I want you to know that you are not alone, and I am holding hands with you over here at the same time. I literally have to do that sometimes where I'm like having a bad day. I'm like, nope, hands out. I'm holding hands. I know these other women are doing it because it matters.
Yeah.
So thank you for everything you're doing and who you are for the world.
Thank you. And I will say this back to you, Kara. Thank you for creating space, because I know what you do is not easy. To get on this and to coordinate a podcast, it's not like people are getting paid for this, but it is intentional. I know it's purposeful, and I know it's hard work. So thank you for making space and holding space for us to show up, no matter what we look like, no matter what our journey is, no matter what success level. Thank you for doing that, because this, like you said, is impactful to make space no one or not many know about. So thank you for what you do and how you serve, impact, and sell, right? So
yes.
that the goodness that comes from you, and that can only come from you. So thank you. I want to thank you and honor you.
Thank you for that. I feel acknowledged.
Absolutely, as you should. Need a reminder? Reach out.
All the links to connect with Natasha, her coaching, and her special link for a discount to her Hello Clients, Hello Cash program are in our show notes at thepowerfulladies.com. Please subscribe to this podcast wherever you're listening and leave us a rating and review. Join us on Instagram at Powerful Ladies, and if you're looking to connect directly with me, visit karaduffy.com or Kara_Duffy on Instagram. I'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Until then, I hope you're taking on being powerful in your life. Go be awesome and up to something you love.